Hello again from my front porch. It is actually a little chilly day here in Iowa. I think it's now it's funny, you know, we had that winter and complained about how cold it was, and so now it feels a little chilly here because it's only in the 60s. We Iowans were so fickle, we complain about the weather no matter what. But it is an overcast day, which of course I've shared before. I like those for filming purposes. It makes the lighting really good here. Speaking of good lighting, that was a strained segue. You know, it's one of those segues. It sounded better in here. But anyway, where I was going with this is I just finished my session for the TICE conference, the Training Industry Conference and Expo, and it was good. It was a good experience. Now, I did have to be creative with my lighting because when we did a walkthrough, a technical walkthrough of things yesterday, or not yesterday. It was last week. Wow. I was just sitting here thinking, wait a minute. Yesterday? No, that was not yesterday. It was like a week ago. Wow. Okay. There a lot of water has gone under the bridge since this last week. Oh, okay. My friend Tara keeps asking me if I'm at a point yet where I need an assistant. Well, apparently. But anyway. See, this is one of those times where I'm tempted to start over again, but I'm not gonna. I'm just gonna run with it. We'll leave it, let it go. You folks deserve to see the bonus footage type stuff too. Plus, then maybe you feel better knowing that you're not the only one who does things like this, or maybe I am the only one who does things like this. Anyway, so I did my session for the TICE car, and it went better than this video is going. That's a pretty low bar. But seriously, I did that. But when we did the technical rehearsal last week, I noticed that the lighting seemed a little subdued, and so this time I made sure that I had all the basement lights on, and I also have this other little round light thingy that lights LED light thing. It's actually designed to put on the cell phone. That you clip it on the cell phone and then it gives more lights. It shines things. But I took it and I clipped it on my monitor right next to the webcam so that it was shining in my direction as well and help light up that part of my face and what was going on there. I also did a big cleanup job in my office. See, in general, my house is pretty well maintained. And that's partly because I don't use big parts of it. People say, why do you live in that big house all by yourself? When you only use like 3 rooms. I like the house. And that's not true. I use more than 3 rooms, but some of them really are more of a room to walk through to get to the rooms I'm using, I guess. Anyway, but I needed to light myself better. And get that done, and so I did that with this little light, and it worked well, and so that was my way back to my strained segue earlier. That was what I was trying to get at, better lighting. See, I could have done my conference video thing out here. If I was confident actually about the stability of the wireless connection, network connection out here on the front porch, I might have actually considered that. But this because the nice thing is, even though it's a little cool outside right now, if you go out and it's got a little breeze and stuff, excuse me, that means that here in the front porch it feels very comfortable. So perfect time to be out here doing this. Overcast sky, good even lighting. Temperature a little lower outside, nice and pleasant here in the front porch. So this is a good day. And the TICE session, it went really well too. Now it was challenging because I like to talk. You know, you may have noticed, but the session there was 45-minute session, and they wanted you to reserve the last 10 minutes for questions. So technically, I had only 35 minutes to present, and it's like, whoa, wow, oh, how am I gonna cover all this stuff in 35 minutes? And so I did have to make some decisions about what I was compressing and what I was unpacking, and took some stuff out that I normally would include. And that's not a bad thing. It's always good to be considering and reinventing. And frankly, there still might be a couple of things, if I were to do this again, I might still take out or at least scale down. And so, but that all being said, I got it done. I actually, because the session started at its time, I didn't get to start like right away. I was like a minute or two in before it was actually turned over to me, and then I launched into what I was doing. And I will have you know that I ended 2 minutes earlier than I needed to. Now, I was watching my time. I was being very careful to watch my time so that I made sure that we went through things. And when I present, when I'm doing things, I really do like dialogue. I like interaction with people. But the problem is, when you start allowing for interaction while you're presenting, then you have somebody who has a legitimate question, but it's unique to them, and you can get stuck in the quagmire of addressing that one person. Meanwhile, everybody else in the room is tuning out because, well, it doesn't apply to me. And then you run the risk of running out of time, and you don't get to cover all the content at the back end of the session. And so then you have people to get frustrated that, well, I didn't even hear the stuff I came here for. And so, I didn't want that to happen. So this was an example of where I did just sort of charge through the information, and then we reserve the question answer time at the end. But again, I got done a little bit early, and some people have posted comments and questions in the chat. I was able to we were able to do some of that, and then some people sent questions directly to the moderator that was moderating it as well. And I didn't see the actual final head count, but I saw that there were, I think, close to 40 individuals in the session, which I thought was pretty good, because again, this is a total online option. Now, at a standard I don't know what the numbers normally are at the TICE conference, because as I had said before, I never had a chance to actually go to one in person when it was an in-person thing. But like, I presented at the ATD conferences, and granted, those are big deal conferences, but it's not uncommon to have 300-400 people in your room. And so, obviously we chop a zero off of that, and that's kind of what I had today. But I consider that to still be pretty good for an online conference. And near as I could tell, most of the people that joined stayed until the very end. Because it's one thing for people to join, it's another thing for them to go, this is whatever I click. And I looked at the program. There was another session going on at the same time that if I wasn't there presenting, doing my session, there was this other session I would have been at. And so I did also thank them all for being there when they had the choice of sessions, that this was something that really could, that I hope would really benefit them as well. And so anyway, that it went good. I was proud of myself getting my content squeezed in. I felt like I covered everything that needed covered. And then the Q&A time, I think I answered the questions reasonably well. There were a couple of them that I deferred. One individual asked a question. It was a good question, but they didn't give me enough to work with. And the only way to get more information would have been to have then, ask them, hey, can you give me more of this? And at that point, now we have that scenario like I was talking about before, where we have 10 minutes, 12 minutes actually, to go over Q&A, but now if I'm going to be dialoguing with you and getting more information out of you and understanding so I can give you I'm eating up a big chunk of that time that other people don't get their questions answered. So I just asked that individual to reach out to me offline so that we could dig a little deeper into that. There was one person asked me about LMSs and structure on the job training, and what my experience with that was, and I jokingly said, that's a really good question. Okay, next question. Because I told him it's tough. It is tough because most LMSs are not designed with structured on-the-job training in mind. They're designed for a very traditional classroom environment where you have the cookie cutter thing where you're really just tracking attendance at something, and it doesn't really allow for you to put in things related to the measuring of the competencies in the way that we're talking about with structured on-the-job training. It's a whole different beast than what traditional training has all been about. And so it's no surprise that LMSs are not designed to do that because, LMSs have to appeal to the broadest audience to make money. Why would they spend a lot of money developing something that's, a much smaller segment? Unfortunately, it is, but a much smaller segment. So I totally get why it's something that LMSs don't have a lot of, but it's also, when the question comes up, I'm like, that's a good question, but I did have somebody though that commented, posted and said, Paul would like to chat about LMS. I'm hoping that individual has some thoughts or some suggestions, maybe even works for an LMS company that thinks that they have what it is, because I've always said that if I could find an LMS that was actually supportive of structure on the job training, I would brag about it and talk about it like crazy, because the question always comes up, and there was a solution that I had found. It was a web-based solution, and it was excellent. It was as close to being exactly what was needed as I've ever found. And then the people running that entity decided that they wanted to retire, and they didn't. Apparently, nobody else bought the content, or they didn't sell it off, or I don't know. But then it just died. The service just ended, and I was like, oh man. But anyway, I had a good experience. The TICE people were very, very wonderful to work with. But unfortunately, now that I've completed my session, I think I have to, give back my honorary doctor title because in one of the promotional videos that they had put together, somebody had added doctor in front of my name when they put the titling on the promotional video. And so I thought that was kind of amusing, and I had shared it on LinkedIn, tagged the organization in it, and said that I'm not really a doctor, but apparently I play one in promotional conference videos. And they, with a sense of humor, they replied back and said that they were bestowing onto me the Doctor of Learning title, at least for the duration of my time working with them at the conference. All right, so but now that I've presented, I'm guessing the Dr. Paul Smith title has to go away. So I'm a doctor no more. I have to go back and earn it the right way. Oh. But still, I had a great time. It was good getting to promote the book, Learning While Working. Again, never miss an opportunity. But it wasn't just about promoting the book. It was about talking about the concepts. I did, of course, mention the book. I actually even had a little humor at my own expense. I pointed out that there are many different terms that are used for structured on-the-job training type mentality: competency-based learning, experiential learning, informal apprenticeships. All these are terms. They're not directly interchangeable, but they get used interchangeably. They each have an area of focus, a nugget that comes out of them into structured on-the-job training. But my point being, I told this group that part of the reason that there are all these different things is because different people need to lay claim to it. They need to have ownership to it so they can write a book. I know I'm cynical, but I do believe there's some truth to that. So then I was honest and I said, I did not invent structure on the job training. I did not come up with this term. This has been around for decades. Military and healthcare have been using it. I didn't create it, but I did write a book. Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, that was good. And it was a good session as well. So even though I have to say farewell to my doctor title, I still am glad that I did it. It was a good time. And I hope that those people who attended the session, got some good meat out of it, got some good, opportunities to develop through some things and feel like some of the tools and resources that I provided to them, will prove useful. So that's that. So, all right, now back to the real world of work, and well, actually, the conference itself still goes on for the rest of the day today and tomorrow, and so I am still going to be sitting in on some of those sessions too. I mean, I got a free conference admission because of being a presenter. Why squander it? You know. All right, with that, I'll let you go, and I'll see y'all next time from my front porch.